If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, or if you're just curious about what it really means, this video is for you. Many people think of autism based on stereotypes from movies and TV shows, or a few widely publicized traits. The word itself can be confusing, and it's often misunderstood as a single, simple condition. But what if I told you that autism is not a single thing, but a wide-ranging spectrum of human experience? And understanding it is the key to building a more inclusive and empathetic world. As an autistic individual myself, I've seen and lived this firsthand, how a little understanding can make a huge difference. Today I'm going to break down the 3 core components of ASD, explaining the spectrum part of the name, and give you a new framework for thinking about this complex topic. So let's dive into the first and perhaps most defining characteristic of autism, which is the differences in social communication and interaction. It's not about being antisocial, but about using things like eye contact or body language and back and forth conversations in a different way. I'll give you 3 examples. Number 1, even though I don't make direct eye contact with people, I can still look at a spot on their face like their forehead or their mouth to focus my attention on what the person is saying so I can hear them better. With body language, I may not understand the subtle cues, but I can learn to pick up on things such as a person's tone of voice. With back and forth conversations, that's like a game of catch. I can talk about something I'm passionate about for minutes on end without noticing that the person has either lost interest or is trying to redirect the conversation. Autistic people communicate. We just do it in a way that neurotypical people don't always understand. It's important to remember that we are not being rude when we're talking. We just have a more honest and direct way of communicating with people. And it's not a deficit, it's a difference. And now that we've looked at how these social interactions can be different, let's explore the next key area, which is repetitive behaviors, interests, or activities. These repetitive behaviors can manifest as repetitive physical movements, which are called stimming, or as a strong need for routine or even special interests. With stimming, for me, I can spin a pen in between my fingers, and this can be a way I can regulate my emotions or manage my sensory input. With routine, that is something I have benefited from and have seen the negative impacts as well when I don't have a routine. Like, for example, I can wake up with a wake-up routine every morning and wind down with my nighttime routine. With special interests, for example, like I have played the video game Fortnite ever since like September 2018. I may not play it as often now because of my family responsibilities and with work, but I still enjoy it to this day. It's important to remember that these behaviors aren't random. They serve as a purpose for the individual, often related to sensory regulation or a need for order. And this is a core part of our experience, not just a quirk. So we've talked about 2 of these main criteria, but what about the spectrum part of autism? I have an interesting framework that I want to introduce to you. So think of the spectrum in autism spectrum disorder like the constellations in the night sky. Each star represents a different autistic trait or characteristic. The spectrum isn't a line, it's the entire night sky. Some people are like the constellation Orion, with a specific recognizable pattern or trait. Others might be like the Big Dipper, or a unique, unnamed cluster of stars, each with their own clear, vivid pattern. The spectrum refers to the huge variety of ways that these traits combine, creating a unique and beautiful constellation for each person. So, just to recap what we've talked about, autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental condition defined by two core areas: the differences in how you communicate and interact with people, and the presence of repetitive behaviors or special interests. But most importantly, I have shown you that the spectrum means that every person's experience is unique, not just a single linear story. Understanding autism isn't about fitting people into a little box. It's about seeing the world from a different perspective and creating a space where every mind is valued. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with someone you know who either has autism or is a loved one of that person. And if you want to learn more, I have a video that answers 10 common questions about autism. Until then, keep it real.